I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Pipestone County Commission. The most present are Luke Johnson, Commissioner Doug Nagel, Commissioner Dan Wildermuth, myself, Dallas Roskamp, Steve Ewing, County Administrator. Is there any adjustments to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I have no additions or deletions from the agenda this morning.
Mr. Chair, I will move the agenda as presented then.
Thank you. Is there a second for that? A second. Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We work off this agenda. And consent agenda, approved minutes of 2/27/24, approve auditors warrants of 3/1/24, 3/8/24, approve commissioners warrants, approve hospital warrants of $793,251.27, and approve treasurer's report February 2024.
Chair, I'd move for approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That's carried. Mr. Nick Bergman, County Engineer, you're up.
Morning.
Morning, Nick.
All right, first up for me today would be some project updates. The first one there listed, 2023 overlays. And my agenda for later this morning to approve final payment for that, so those will be off the books. I actually just got a phone call this morning about the 2024 overlays. And I think we are going to be the first job after postings come off, so. And supposedly, that's because we let them early so they can get moved in before postings go on, so. I think that helps us out on our pricing maybe a little bit, but.
Did they set up an Edgerton pit?
Yep. Yep, that's us on County Road 17 there.
They're setting up already, so.
Yep, I went by there, I think last week, and I saw, it's like most of the stuff there already, so. So,
It's a good thing.
yep, get her done with, so. The next update I have is the last project on the second page. That would be our gravel crushing for 2024. And they have been stripping out at our pit. So they're working on that already. And that's the last update I have for now, for this month. Next up, I have a request to renew our design software. We used to buy it back when they would let us buy it, but now we have to do a subscription every year, which I think costs more, but there's no other option. So what you see here is 2 seats of, they call them seats, not subscriptions. Not sure where that comes from, but that's what that means. 2 of Civil 3D and 2 of AutoCAD LT, which is light. So we have 4 people that use it, but only 2 need the like the high horsepower program, which is the Civil 3D. And the other 2 have been getting by with the AutoCAD Lite. We've been doing it this way a few years. It saves us, I think the AutoCAD Lite is like $800 and some per license, and then it's like $2,000 a piece for the bigger one. So, you know, it saves us a few thousand a year to do it this way. And it's been working, so I think we should keep doing it this way. And this is off the state contract. That's why you don't see another price there, so.
Motion to approve the software subscription for the highway department.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second. I do have a question though for Nick.
Yep.
And don't want to hinder at all your efficiency of your operation, but can they share software? That's not possible. Just think about that in the future.
Yeah, we used to be able to do that, where we could like have it on the server and just like log into it, but I
Yeah.
don't think we can do that anymore. I think we had to go away from that. if I remember right.
I can't help wonder, you know, we've seen this trend. We know it's something we face all the time that you can't buy software. You have to, I really wonder if at some point somebody's gonna file an antitrust suit. I mean,
Hope
it seems a little bit,
Yeah, because we used to buy it and then it'd be good and it'd be supported and it'd work good for a few years or whatever.
and then they wouldn't support it anymore.
Yeah, and then they'd say, you should buy new one now because we're gonna quit supporting it. And then we'd keep running it, and then when it started to give us problems, then we'd upgrade it. And that we seem to be, it's like you get an extra year or two kind of free, so to speak, out of it, but.
We'll see what the federal government does with antitrust at some
Right,
point.
right, so, we do what we can, playing whatever games we can,
We got no choice.
yeah. So,
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
all right, next up for me would be the, approval of the 2023 overlays to Central Specialties from Alexandria. I have all the project numbers listed there. The original contract amount was $3,149,558.80. And the final work certified was $3,275,428.89. Then at the bottom, I kind of listed what the major differences were there. I have shouldering listed $64,900 and some odd dollars there. That includes like the shoulders kind of wear down over the years and, then we end up overrunning. We try to take a good guess at that, but our guess wasn't very good this year. Then the bituminous overruns, if you look at a road, there can be like wheel rutting. So I mean, you end up a little thicker in spots and we didn't do any extra roads. It all ended up on our road, but there's usually a little overrun. This isn't too bad, I guess, but and then there's incentive and disincentive payments and that ended up being over $10,000. So I think that's a good thing. It means we get
Good call.
good quality product. Yep. But one thing I have to say is I caught this after I sent the packet out, but for the shouldering and bituminous differences, I had 15,300 worth of bituminous overrun in the shouldering number, so nothing that like needs formal action, but just FYI, when looking at the major differences, I had tallied that one wrong, so it's more like 50,000 overrun on shouldering and then a little over 70 on the bituminous, but
And then the overruns are calculated then off the weight tickets for the trucks. That's how they keep track of how much
Yep.
product they use.
every truck that shows up on the road, if they want to get paid for it, we have to get a ticket for it.
Yep, and that's how you calculate what the overruns are.
Yep, our inspector signs off on it that he got it and what time it's dumped, and so they don't just give us a bill at the end, like we don't have a ticket, you don't get paid, so. So we know we got all the material. It's not a question of that, so.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we go ahead and approve the final payment then of the $185,965.19.
Thank you. Is there support for that?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pay the bill. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
All right, next up for me would be that County Road 17 gravel project. This is a little recap. We have our own gravel source, but there's 4 pits that I'm aware of that are right by that job, so we thought it might make sense to do a bid alternate. To what the cost differences are of purchasing gravel on the job versus hauling our own. So these bids, one bid will be for the contractor to furnish and install the gravel. And the other bid will be for them to just haul ours and then place it on the road. So those two numbers aren't exactly apples to apples because they don't take into account how much we paid to get our gravel crushed and what we value our raw material as it sits in the ground. So we need to establish that number in order to know how we're gonna compare these bids when we open bids. So I did some calling around. I contacted other counties in our area. And it looks like the royalty they've been paying is about $1.50 a ton. And then we know our crushing cost was $1.80 a ton, and that's based on the contract we just opened, so. I think we need to set up the value we're gonna use to compare those two numbers beforehand, because if we open bids and then decide later, it's possible we get accused of picking the contractor we want and manipulating the numbers, so I think we just need to set up those numbers ahead of time on how we're gonna compare, so. So I guess that's what I'm asking you for today, would be guidance on how you want to how you want to value that. I mean, I think it's pretty easy. We need the $1.80 for the crushing, we have that number for sure. But the other question
And
is,
then you're saying the crushing costs, but obviously, but then are you saying like, the $1.50 on top of that? for
Yep,
the-
that's what most other counties are paying.
That's-
We've been crushing out of our pit, so I didn't have any current numbers on that, so I think I contacted, everyone in our district just, to see what they had.
So that'd be $3.30.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's, if we implemented, if we use that number and our crushing cost, we would, whatever quantity we settle on in the end, we would need to essentially add that for comparison's sake. They wouldn't get paid any more for that, but that's the number we would use
Yeah.
internally to say,
To
we
com-
think this is the best
to
deal for
compare,
us. Yeah,
How about the quality of the gravel, comparable?
it'd be the same specs, they'd have to meet the gradation, otherwise it'd be either, like a penalty on their material, or if it got bad enough, it's rejected. We don't accept it, so. So we would set specs on that material.
They don't crush in the local pits, do they?
If they bid that alternate, they would,
Would they have to crush their gravel too?
like at a local pit, you mean? Yeah, they would supply the material. I mean, we don't care where it comes from. That's part of the bid, so
But it's gotta meet specs, so if they don't,
it'd have to meet the
so if
specs.
they don't crush it, it might not meet spec. If they
Oh,
do-
you're talking crushing versus screening?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be crushed. Yeah. Yeah, it'd have to meet the
It'd
spec.
have to
We'll
be
s-
crushed.
It wouldn't,
Okay.
it wouldn't meet your spec if it wasn't crushed, I wouldn't think.
I'd have to look.
You know more about that than I do, but.
Yeah, I might meet the gradation, but I don't know if it'd meet the. We'd have to run a gradation. I'd have to look at it a little bit closer, but I mean, it would have to be the same. We're gonna spec out the same stuff that we have in our pit. So I mean, it's the material we'd be comparing would be the same. Yeah.
Difference be hauling from a local pit rather than our pit, which is farther away.
It's an 11-mile haul, so. And
It's a lot of difference.
it is. That's why I think it's worth doing this alternate
No,
and checking.
So that's.
We know.
That's gonna depend on the cost of the closer gravel, of course.
Mhm.
You know,
Correct.
if it is better than the trucking, yeah.
And, like our crushing, that's the cheapest we could get it done, it's the little bid. Maybe somebody out here can't do it that cheap. So, that might be different too. There's a few variables, but really not out anything trying it this way, to see what the better deal is for us, so.
So right now, you just need to know like what we would put on as a royalty, is that what
Yep.
you're after?
In the crushing, I need to know what value we want to add to that per ton quantity to compare apples to apples, essentially.
Top the crushing. Okay, just, you know the crushing cost. You just wanna,
Yeah, we know the crushing cost, the royalty is the one that's
that's what you're.
more up in the air, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what we wanna call it anyway, so,
What was the range on the royalties?
$1 to $2, and some depend on what part of the county they were at. I think one response is worded a little funny, I think when I averaged them all out, it was like $1.58 or something like that, but I wasn't really sure. Kind of is a little open to interpretation, so I just called it $1.50. Everybody seemed to be saying $1 to $2, depending where we're at, so it just, I don't know. I feel like $1.50 was, essentially the,
Recommendation, where to put it, or
Is there?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, I put the total probably at 330, but
Is there a gravel tax too? That people pay when they haul it out of the county?
yep, so that'll have to go on.
That would be waived for this or?
If it comes from our pit. A couple months ago when I looked it up, I think if it comes from our pit, it doesn't go on, but if it comes from,
Privately owned. pit.
yeah, then it does have to go on there, and then we get some of that back, so it's kind of weird, but.
Yeah. It's not a large number if I remember right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, you did. I remember 17 and a half or 22 and a half or something like that, and then it depends if you're talking tons or yards, so yeah, you got me, but I'd have to look it up again, but,
But essence, you're recommending 350 is where we should set this at, or 330, where you, 330?
330.
330?
Well, Mr. Chair, if that's, Engineer Bergman's recommendation, I'll go with that recommendation. I'll move, we set that base then at 330.
Do we need a motion for that or?
You were looking for specific.
Actually, I don't know if I do.
Okay.
I'd write the specs, or we write the specs, so.
Then the
Then I'll
spec.
Make that our
I'll
recommendation.
appreciate that then. No need for that action.
That's what we'll use, and that'll be in our specs, so they know what they're up against, so nobody can accuse us of, I don't know, whatever you want, favoritism or whatever you wanna call it, so. Perfect, that's what we will proceed with, thank you. Next up, that old metal truss bridge, I told you that based on my memory, I thought we could advertise for either 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but we're wrong, either that or they changed it on me, but I reached back out to them, they said 7 to 10 days.
That's min bid.
Min bid, yep, yep, correct. So that changed it a little bit for me, cause like, it's gonna be hard to coordinate with the newspaper then, cause we'd essentially have to have it go on min bid the day that the paper comes out. And then I'd have to quickly get the link on our county website, so,
Coordinated.
yeah, and we can do that, that's not a problem, it's just, I thought we had a wider window than.
You could put that in the ad though, couldn't you? The days that it's the bid's
Yeah.
open.
Well,
I mean, the newspaper ad, you could say on min bid from blah, blah to,
yeah, I'd
certain-
probably say from approximately
Yeah.
whatever date to whatever date.
They gotta go on min bid anyway.
Yep, it'd be,
So-
I think it'd be a link to our county website, and then we'd have a hyperlink there
Well, yeah,
to the min bid page, so.
so maybe the ad would say on min bid, open from whatever the dates are.
Yeah,
type thing.
Mr. Chair, if you recall what kind of initiated this whole discussion is, we had a party that was interested in the bridge for a youth camp, whatever it is and so forth. So we started the discussion again. Well, now they're no longer interested in it. So there's no need for this at this point. So it doesn't cost us anything to let it sit out there. So we
Yep.
just let it sit again until somebody else comes along and wants it, or do we
That's-
take action?
Don't have to sell it.
We don't have to sell it.
no? If, that would be the probably,
You got plenty,
we
got
could-
plenty of room. It's not bothering. you.
no, it's not.
I know it seems silly to, table it again, kick the can down the road again, but it's a white elephant. We had somebody wanted it, now they don't want it. We let it sit.
Maybe wait till somebody wants it
Yep,
again.
we wait till somebody wants it, and then we'll have to go through this process again.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the way for us to dispose of it.
Do that.
I think we can just,
Just say,
I think we just table it.
That's fine.
At some point in time, call the junk dealer, see what they're willing to offer you for it.
We could.
Flutie from wherever would be
Yep.
interested, I'm sure.
I guess for what it's worth, personally, I think it's kind of a neat looking thing. It'd be nice to see.
Used and not scrap.
Yeah,
Yep.
it would like see it used on something that's like,
it's a nice.
people can
it's
see
a
it.
Bridge, but you gotta find the right place.
You bet.
H.E. Jones Trail.
I don't want
Good
it.
luck.
They
with that.
don't want it. It's not good enough.
That was a discussion a year
I
ago.
know.
I've always thought it would have been cool to use on the Indian Lakes Trail if there was a way to get it somewhere, or if there's a use for it, because people get to see it and,
And that was part of the discussion too.
yeah.
But as it turned out, that area, it didn't work, but.
No,
somebody-
I understand, but something like that, like a trail like that, where people get to see it, forever would be kind of
The
neat.
pipeline people use it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah, why don't we, let's just go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm fine with waiting.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe a highway department would build a new facility somewhere and want it as an ornamental piece. I don't know, but
If you wanna math trivia question, you can get out your old formulas and see if you can figure out by dimensions how much it weighs, huh?
how much it weighs?
Yeah, you could. There's per foot.
Flutie can go like this, you figure that.
Weight per foot of those beams, yeah.
Yeah. If we ever ended up with the right person crushing gravel that had a payloader scale,
If they happen to be there, if,
I wonder if we could,
Lift it up.
We don't need it.
but if they picked up one side and we picked up the other side and looked at whatever their payloader scale was, if we kind of doubled it, I wonder if that would.
if you're curious, but don't spend any money on it.
No. Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
And I always assumed it was a cast iron bridge, but it's not. It's cold rolled steel.
I don't know the difference by looking at it. I had one steel structures class in school and that was it. Like, nope, that was enough. That was the minimum, so. Yeah. No, it says, it's got a name on it for the type of steel. Like what was one of the big names from,
Bethlehem.
nope,
US Steel.
nope. It's like a person's last name.
Carnegie.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. It says that on a few spots, so.
Then you gotta get the historical people
That's right.
involved.
Yep.
So, yeah, well, if you ever want to see it yourself, it's a corner. It's easy to find. You can't miss it. So
Maybe some library would like it as an ornamental piece.
whatever, I'd be happy to see it get used somewhere. So
Now that it was designed to have wood decking on it, is that right? And the
I
decking's
don't
all
know.
gone. It's just the framework now.
seems to be almost in three spans. Like, you know, the truss on the side is all there, but like the center third is there, I think, holding it together, I assume. And then there's a bunch of beams there and fill in the other the two outside thirds, if you will. I don't know if it's complete or not. I have the ad ready and I said that in there, no guarantees to condition or completeness, so.
Is the address of that gravel.
You have the address where that is?
I don't have a map with me, but we can give it to you, but
It's out by the gun club yet, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's where
it's like a
Morton's Gun Club.
No, but then further. east and-
mile east and a mile north of the gun club.
Okay, then I find it.
Uh,
Look for the bridge that's not doing anything, right?
Yeah, it's not across the creek or something.
yeah, not quite the, well,
The bridge from nowhere.
I guess it.
To nowhere.
To nowhere.
It's. Good enough signal to pull it up now, but, oh, here we go. It is at the corner of 141st Street and 160th Avenue.
Thank you.
Yep. Yep. When you get out there, look for the big pile of gravel. It's right next to it. So, okay, so we'll just plan to keep it until, cross our fingers and hope someone else has a good use for it and then we'll revisit selling, so.
We got it for nothing from the state. Doesn't cost us anything to let it sit there, so.
Right. All right, next for me would be the, County Road 56. That's between Lewis Drug and Casey's heading south to Highway 30. I got presented a plat again on, what they want to do there. Looks like they're proposing a gas station on the north part of it. I don't know that we have much choice, but I kind of more wanted to update you, but so they're looking at two driveways now, one onto Highway 30, which I was kind of surprised the state allowed, but and then another one, they're requesting access under our County Road 56. I did a little looking in the area and even if we wanted to suggest them running their driveway onto that city street, I see that city street's marked for no trucks. So I don't know where else they go. I think they have to come onto our County Road 56, but the Casey's across the road has a driveway, so you know, in an effort to be fair, it's something to consider too, but from what I've been told way back It's on the east side of that road, were denied access onto 56. They all wanted individual driveways and they were forced to have a frontage road. That's a safety thing through MinDOT. I can't really speak to the science behind it. I just know that that's their stance, so I've always just accepted it, I guess, but I would recommend we stay consistent with that. So like if one of those, it'd probably be the east residential property in that new subdivision, if they wanted access under our road, I think we should deny it, but then I think we should allow the gas station to go in there, so. I guess that's where I'm at with it, unless anybody knows anything else or has any other strong feelings, but that's what I plan
Are
on
they
telling.
using the whole parcel all the way up to the city street?
Are you asking how wide the driveway is gonna be?
No, the Quick Trip, did they purchase the whole thing all the way to the city street
To the south, you're saying?
to the south?
No, I think it's just the north half of that lot from what I could gather out of it, but it also said preliminary, so I guess it could change too, but I think the north part is, as I understand it, the north part is a Quick Trip and the south part is residential.
That's gonna be residential, the south part.
Yeah, that's how I
I've
understand.
heard that.
Okay, so then I guess what I
So you
interpreted
might
matches.
have to decide how to do a driveway for that one too.
Well, they
They
could
could go
go onto the
south.
city street to the south, all the residences, yeah.
Then you mentioned the
Yep.
rate on 56. I think there's some areas that are not very good there right
Correct.
now.
I do too. You look at them right now today and you can tell which spots we're gonna be patching this year already, so.
Well, meaning
Yep.
that maybe that needs to be
Yep.
kind of redone anyways.
That's been on my radar for a while, but it's like, well, I don't really want to rebuild that and then find out it doesn't meet the needs of what's going in there and we overbuilt for no reason.
So, but now you know what you're.
Yep, if that's gonna go in there, then that'll probably come up on my 5-year plan conversation, possibly even this year. If not, probably the road and bridge hearing next year. I reached out to the city a couple years ago, seeing if they had any need for any utility work in the area, because, we've had soft spots there for a while. So I thought, well, it makes sense to do that in conjunction with them, because I don't wanna say build a new street and find out we gotta tear out a bunch of curb and gutter and rip up a bunch of blacktop to get a sewer line in for a business or something, so like, kinda wanted the business plan first, but.
Maybe MinDOT will do it when they do that whole intersection,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be nice.
The roundabout, you mean?
Well, their intersection needs work too.
Yeah.
Nick, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I read an article about that, and Quick Trip is not advertising this as a truck stop.
Yep,
So it's not like you're gonna have heavy truck traffic there, and also take into consideration that there was a driveway there already before
Yep.
for the school.
it's in about the same spot.
About the same, and that school also had garbage trucks, food
Correct.
delivery trucks and so forth there, so.
Yep, buses. I saw that, thought of that. I understand it's not a truck stop, but still there'd have to be a bunch of trucks coming in there to
They're
build
gonna
it.
have a diesel pump there, so yeah.
Yeah, they'll have to build it yet, so I think I would expect us to have to do some work on our road. At least some patching and maintenance work for now, if they build that, so. But yeah, when we see what the traffic needs are there, well, then maybe, we talk about rebuilding part of that, so. Cause I think, looking at old road plans, it looks like that north block and then half of the next block weren't rebuilt, but the rest of it was, or something kind of goofy like that, so do you remember?
No, I don't
Okay.
recall that.
A couple of years ago, that was redone to the south. Where did
Yeah.
that stop? Where did that start?
By the golf course driveway, yep. But I'm talking, there was a regrade job long before my time, but it kind of ended in a weird spot, so maybe we just do that whole segment then, I don't know.
So in our mind, we have to change the name of that road. It's no longer the Schneider Blacktop. Now it's the Lewis Blacktop, or it's gonna be
The Lewis,
Quick
yeah,
Trip
yeah.
Blacktop.
It's still the Snyder tar
It's
to
still
be.
the Schneider tar.
Sorry, I'm old.
That's right. We don't change.
So,
Is when we're gone.
so I guess, just so you know, that's what I'll plan on telling them then, but. Lastly, for me, just be a few maintenance updates. Over the last month, we've done some pop work, getting them ready to go for the year. Oddly enough, did quite a bit of blading, which is a little different for that time of year, but. And then we've been, getting going on crack sealing, so. I guess that's all I had for today. Any questions for me?
Guys have been working on 268. They're doing a nice job, so.
Yep, getting ready for the seal coat, so. Or County Road 9, but I know what you mean. Same with Snyder Blacktop.
268.
It's giving you a hard time. Yeah, that one and the road, that new road up to Hatfield and then County Road 15 from Cas North will be. Those are being seal coated, so we'll make sure we get them all crack sealed before.
They've been doing some patching on 75. Maybe you could help them guys.
Done, huh? Yeah. Yep, so. All right, well, that's all I had for today then.
You, other question for Nick? Kyle. Saw you sneak in the back, so. Morning. Morning, Kyle.
I just have one thing today, conditional use permit application from Boxcar LLC on some land up around, Ruthden. Edna Section 11, property is owned by Virgil Nielsen Land Living Trust. And they're proposing to install a temporary Met Tower as part of the Boxcar Wind Project that's primarily going to be located in Murray and Lyon County. Planning Commission had a hearing. There were really no comments, concerns. And the recommendation is to approve the proposed temporary Met Tower that's being proposed.
This
Any-
project only has a limited amount of turbines in Pipestone County, correct?
They didn't specify if there were actually going to be any in Pipestone. Pipestone's the very southwest corner of the project. They're doing, I believe from the hearing, he said 17 Met Towers throughout the area. It's a large area and this is going to be the only one that's going to be in Pipestone. Is Met Tower anyway. We don't know about turbines, but
The wind area, it'll be in
Correct.
Pipestone County, but that's.
and just kind of something else that we discussed as far as the planning commission is MnDOT Aeronautics now does require registration of Met Towers. Previously that was not required. I believe it was 2000 is when that legislation took place. Statute that now requires these Met Towers to be registered and to comply with their standard specifications. So prior to that, we had concerns with the marker balls, the coloring. Now that's all regulated by Min Aeronautics, so.
And the onus is not on us to register it. It's on Boxcar Wind to have to register that.
Yeah, so it's something that we may look at the planning commission of changing the ordinance to not even require these as a conditional use permit in the future. Where we would just issue a land use permit, being that they're already being regulated, pretty well under the Aeronautics division.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'll go ahead and move that we do grant the conditional use permit then for Boxcar Wind Project LLC.
Yeah, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
Hey, thanks. The only other thing I've got, I think there's an airplane buzzing back and forth, so I'm assuming we might be getting our imagery flown right now too, so. Would be nice to have done without any snow, so.
Yeah.
You remember what the aggregate tax amount per ton is? I drew a blank, drawing a blank on it too. We were talking about with Nick.
Was it 75 cents?
Okay.
I don't,
You don't remember
I
either?
don't
Okay.
remember. I know that what,
And
a
it's
very small percentage goes into that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like 5%.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm playing stump the staff today.
Stump the staff today. Well, Amanda's coming in next. We'll check.
She'll know.
You have some personnel.
Yeah, I've got a couple
issues?
personnel items. Mr. Chairman, board members, you have in front of you. Got going on here through personnel. First item I have there is put in a request for board action to hire our new full-time county maintenance worker. His name is Jessica Harris at A12 Step C of the 2024 Courthouse Union Pay Plan. That wage would be $21.12 per hour. Starting step is $20 per hour. It's a requirement of policy to get board approval, anything higher than a step B. She has had, lots of experience doing maintenance and has actually been doing the maintenance and, janitorial work at the Soil and Water Building since past October for her on an independent basis. So, she came in at a good ranking and interviewed well and good reviews. So I'd recommend 2112 for her salary. Please.
Somebody want to make that a motion?
I'll be happy to make that motion that we,
There's a second for. Yeah, Dan and I got to meet her this morning walking down here.
you know,
Yeah, if I spot her, I'll grab her and bring her in too. I'm not sure where she's working right now. So you guys can meet her.
Well, she could meet us, one or the other. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
Second item would be for the board to accept the resignation of Dylan Bice, jailer dispatcher effective 3/8 of 24. He did resign and also request approval to fill the vacancy.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? You. Any other discussion?
During his probationary time as well. So he did decide that wasn't best fit for him and resigned.
He's not a long-term jailer. He's
No.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carried.
And just a note on the last one there, the HR director applications closed on February 29th. I have 14 applications that were submitted and I need to start working on assigning points to selection of candidates so we can get interviews set up with the personnel committee so we can get that hired.
It's good to see 14 applications.
Yeah. That's a good, and there's several in there that look like good quality candidates. And I've been working diligently as I can to do HR duties. It's don't ever let anyone say that HR is not an important job that we have here.
We know better than that. We do.
It's very it's complex to say the least, and there's lots going on all the time. Just when you think you're ready to do something, something else happens in that. So there's always issues and items come up. So
Steve, I did
There we
have
go.
one person ask me where all we advertised for that opening. I wasn't sure.
we advertised locally, we advertised on Indeed and NeoGov, so it was out on the web as well. And then when people would go to our website, the applications were taken through NeoGov is where they filled them out at. So it was locally in our newspapers as well, and also widely on the web and internet.
And of these 14 applicants, which do you think was most effective for their advertising? Hard to say.
Hard to say
Where it
right
came
now.
from, excuse me. But we've got some.
I don't have an opinion one way or another, but it works. We got people as far away as California
Yep.
and as close as Pipestone, so. So quite a mixture where they came from, which is good. So around the area too, South Dakota, Minnesota, California. I'm pretty sure the California ones were found on the web, so. Next step will be interviews. And no action required on that.
Just for my information, who is on the personnel committee? Look like Luke is.
Chris and I,
Chris.
Chris. Good luck.
All I have to report on personnel items, Mr. Chairman, and board
Okay,
members.
thank you. And Amanda.
I did put on committee reports for February, knowing that some of the committee reports for February were given already, but.
Oh,
did
look
put
at
them on
there. Just, sir, don't sit down. Don't sit down.
You got perfect timing.
I
Amanda.
just mentioned your name and you showed up. Careful of
It was
that.
all planned.
Big Beetlejuice 3 times.
Yeah. Morning. Morning.
Morning. All right, so what I am here for is, the hospital has some software changes, or they're changing some of the software they're using. And so in order to do that, they need some approvals at the bank on the hospital checking account only. It's relating to payroll, so we need to authorize that, 3 employees are gonna have authorization to initiate wires. And then that, 2 employees will be able to approve those files. So I don't know, was anything provided to you guys on that information? Okay, what the
Account
bank had sent? Okay, so that kind of lists that information for you.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we also, we noticed that we needed to update the signature card to include Dallas on the signature card. So that would obviously be for all accounts that the chairman needs.
Mr. Chairman and Amanda, there were items in that package you gave that had account numbers and things on that that did not go out in the public packet. So it wasn't a general public that has access to our minutes and stuff doesn't get to see our account numbers.
I guess the only question I would have, Mr. Chair, is, Bill is up to speed on this from a security standpoint
It's all through the hospital.
through the hospital, but still doesn't involve our computer system at all. Aren't the two linked? I guess all I'm asking is make sure that Bill,
No.
Like as far as the software they're gonna be using,
right,
we don't have any
Okay.
of that software. I don't have anything. I don't know about IT.
No.
thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval.
Thank you. Is there support? You? Any other discussion?
Do we need to state the names that need the authorization for the minutes
Who
for
do
the
you,
records?
what are the names that you want on
So-
for county board members?
Uh,
You can give me the names. That's fine. We'll put them on there.
so, it's gonna be, I guess the email doesn't have their last names all on, but it's, Rhonda, Rachel and Jody are gonna be the ones that'll have authorization to initiate the wires to ADP, and Brad and Sandy are gonna be the ones approving those files. And that's only dealing with wires to ADP. So the bank said to be as specific as possible and that it was only to the hospital checking account.
Again, Rhonda, Rachel, and what was the third?
Judy.
Jody.
Jody?
DI.
AODI.
Yep.
Then the other two were
Brad and Sandy.
Sandy. Thank you. Okay.
And then on the account agreement, then you need also yourself and Pam Tees in Dallas.
Yes, yep. So then that would be, yep, for the accounts at the bank, just the general accounts, the county accounts,
And that needs to be in the
including
minutes.
the
Yeah.
hospital, but
And that needs to be in the minutes too. So
yes, yep. So that would be another,
separate motion.
yes.
Okay.
That would be the entity authorization you're asking for that second motion for, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
We didn't vote on the first motion
No.
yet, did we? You want to read the first motion back to us, Steve? No.
Basically, you're authorizing 3 employees at the hospital, Rhonda, Rachel, and Jody. And to authorize, and then you're having 2 employees that will be approving, and that would be Brad and Sandy. As I understand it.
Judy,
And
Judy Rashke.
Judy Raschke is on
which one is Judy on?
entity authorization sheet.
You're right.
The one that you
It's-
just
So I
mentioned.
think that wrong.
Rhonda Yocum, Judy Raschke, and Rachel Wolf.
Okay, I think we got it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That carried.
And then, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion then for our entity of Amanda, Pam, and Dallas.
Is there support for that?
Second that too.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, carried.
Right. Wonderful.
We're playing stump the staff. What's the aggregate gravel tax for the county?
As far as the amount you're talking, or?
Is it per ton?
Per ton.
Per
Yeah,
ton
the
or per yard or?
Cents per
Per
ton.
ton, isn't it? Yeah.
I wouldn't
Don't
be
feel
able to
bad.
say.
You're the third one we've asked.
I was gonna say, Mary's just been working on, cause there's an annual report that's due for the state. So just spit it out, yeah.
We'll find out soon.
Anything else, Amanda?
I do not have anything else until then. Oh, actually.
You
yeah,
can do this right
like,
now.
Because it's not,
Yeah, this
it's
is,
not a
this not
public.
time sensitive.
Yep. So, next item is I received a home tax abatement, application from Bruin. So you were provided, the information for the application. So at this point, we're gonna just review the application, see if they qualify, and if so, we can schedule the public hearing. So this property, they have a current home, and I believe it's attached to a garage. And they are intending to tear that house down and build a new one that will be attached. They're gonna keep that garage and, put a new house on it. So there are some drawings for you to look at. The other item I wanted to bring up, which, she talked about, obviously timing is always an issue. She did mention that they wanted to start taking the old house down. And so I wanted to follow up with you guys to see, I don't know if we've had any of the situation and if that, normally they can't start any dirt work or construction.
Right.
But if taking the old house down is part of that or not.
This year, I think it might also be worth mentioning, just noting that, the tax abatement program is for new construction. And then people saying, well, you're remodeling. No, they're not remodeling. They're completely demoing the old house. It's just the new house is going to be joined up to an existing garage. So I still think it's very clear this is new construction. So there's no question about that.
And I think as long as they're not starting the new house,
Yeah, the footings, the
they could be
demolition.
taking the old house down because that has
Exactly.
nothing to do with it.
I agree with that. Common sense.
Yeah.
You need a motion to approve this?
So, yep, so if the application is good, look to schedule that public hearing on April 9th at 10 a.m. Timing wise for getting the notice in the paper, we'd need to go to the April 9th meeting.
Let's make that motion.
Yep, and I'll
Thank you.
second that motion.
Thank you.
April 9th at 10 o'clock.
All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carried.
I see the new one is all done. It's gonna be a 3-stall garage. I wonder if that existing garage is a 3-stall now, or if that's just a 2-stall now. Not that it matters. That could be a 3-stall already. It looks pretty good size from the picture.
Mhm.
If you need to
One,
know, we can
two,
check with the assessor.
Yeah, it looks like there's 3 stalls on
Yeah,
that,
it looks like.
on that, that architect drawing. Good, it's a nice house.
Yes, it will.
Right, that's all I had, so. We'll see if another one comes in. I did have a call of someone inquiring about the program, so. See if we'll have some more.
Been a successful program over the years. I'm glad we've done that. We renewed it once. Do we have to renew it again coming up in a few years? I can't remember how long the period runs.
It's a 3-year.
3-year.
How do they go with the elections?
Good.
Good.
Good, yep, we're still just doing some little bit, obviously, there's still stuff to do afterwards with reporting and whatnot, but
And apologize for canvassing. Both Doug and I were gonna help, and we had a meeting up in Alex for Prime West that day, so Dallas, thank you for filling in for us, and oh, Steve.
I was there.
Okay.
Natalie from court and Dan Delaney from City of Pipestone Mayor was there, so. What was it turnout? 20%?
around 20%.
Just around 20,
Yeah,
somewhere in there?
Is that pretty good considering?
I would say it is. I,
You know, it's not like a general.
I feel that with having the majority of, precincts as mail ballot precincts, that we get a higher turnout because of that. So I've
Thanks.
been lower had it not had so much mail ballots, but I only had one other PMP in history, so,
Okay,
so
thanks.
yeah, we don't have much to compare to for statistics.
Right, right.
The percentage of the mail ballots that came back?
I do not have that off the
You'd
top
think
of
that
my
would be
head.
higher, but-
Although
But-
it's,
I think, I mean, it was probably around 70% was from the mail ballot precinct.
Oh,
That's other than the two precincts in Pipestone and Edgerton, everything else is mail ballot precincts, so.
I had a number of people again say there was an election. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can do to get the news out, to
Yep.
get the word out that yes, there is an election, so.
Mail ballot people, obviously, if they're registered, they
Yeah.
automatically get that ballot. So they do get notified of that just by way of getting that packet in the mail, so. But yeah, the biggest thing with this one was that's different from other elections is there were 3 different ballots and you could only vote one ballot. Which part? And so that made it a little bit more different, because you could only vote one and that just, normally you just get one ballot to vote. And so that kind of caused a little bit of
But I
confusion.
understand the reasoning for that was the occasions when people would not understand the directions when it was one ballot and they'd spoil a ballot by crossing line. This way you've eliminated that possibility of having 3 separate ballots. It makes good sense.
That's all right, yep.
What's left on our,
Committee reports.
we want to take a adjournment before committee reports or just do the committee reports and call it
Call the break if you want. Take a little stretch.
5 minutes?
Okay, good.
Pretty good progress. The
I think we had his committee reports and I think
remainder of the stuff, the meal reimbursement, all that doesn't have to be actioned upon.
the which,
Meal reimbursement,
That's just from the warrants.
yeah,
no,
that's all.
no, that's all from warrants.
Okay. Thank you for the report on the balances. So it's interesting to look at.
Yep.
Committee reports. Who would like to go first?
I can finish mine up if you'd like, Mr. Chair.
Which month are you gonna do it this time?
Well, I think you'd like February, and since I already gave you 2/3 of February. For the last week of February, the rest of my month consisted of our SMOC meeting down in Worthington, and again, it's with our newest director, our new director down there, Darcy. And she's doing a great job. Things are going well and we still need a financial officer, so looking for a new finance officer. We do have an HR person down there, a very new HR person, so we're getting things on the right track again, so. So that was Monday evening. As you know, also that serves on that board with me is Evan Schiller, and then also Mary Lewis Washington serves on that board with us as well too, so. Then on the 27th, we had a Minnesota rural, that was the day up at the Capitol. And I wasn't able to attend that day in the Capitol. That was for MRRA Day. Cause we had, of course, county board and hospital board that day. And then on the 29th, we had our open house at the hospice house. So that completes my report for the month of February.
Thank you.
Okay, I did almost all my February last time, and the only thing I have to add is the hospice open house I attended.
You made it there
That was
too.
the rest of the month. Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah.
Down the hall.
They had the ribbon cutting this last week, and I guess the reason they couldn't do them both together is it didn't work with schedules to do the ribbon cutting and the open house at the same
I
time.
wanted to go to the ribbon cutting, but I was canvassing, so.
Yes, exactly.
Nobody else could go there either, cause you guys are
They
busy.
were gone.
People don't understand how many meetings we go to.
Mhm.
It gets busy.
And it's not just county, it's the hospital also. When we talked about salary last December, I should have brought that up, that we're comparing these to other counties.
Mhm.
None of them people have hospital duties.
Very few.
Very few.
Murray County has a hospital, but a number of years ago, they no longer have all 5 of their commissioners. I think they've got 1 or 2 commissioners.
I think it's just like a committee
It's a
assignment now.
committee assignment for them. Yep, it's not a full board.
Look,
Okay, since our last meeting, of course, we had the hospital board on the 27th, on the 29th, Prime Health, that I was elected vice chair. They had a positive year last year, so their reserves are on the increase, which is a good thing since we're a self-insured pool. On Monday, the 4th, MRC met. We heard from Representative Peter Fisher, Senator John Hoffman, both of whom are chairs of their human services committees in the House and Senate. And they talked about the, county-based purchasing, that Karma bill that they're trying to get through. Of course, we're hoping the Supreme Court will just rule and their problems go away. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but sometime this year. And then we also heard from Senator Paul Utke, who is a ranking minority member on the Human Services Committee also. And other than that, just got the usual updates and whatnot from our lobbyists. On the 5th, we had the road and bridge hearing, which most of you were there. And Thursday and Friday, I was at AMC Futures. We had presentations on AI from Dr. PhD guy that it was pretty interesting, really, as far as just showing all the different things that they have going now and but eventually we'll probably, the portions that will work for counties as far as, just data processing and trying to assess, large amounts of data to make decisions. And we had some presentations on mental health treatment capacity. Heard from the new mayor of Duluth, who, was pretty interesting. He was a former council member. He was a representative and senator at the state level, was involved with the Navy Reserve for a lot of years, went overseas and, on duty. And then was elected the 40th mayor of Duluth in November. And as an attorney, but not, he doesn't practice law. He just wanted it for the other things he does. And then we had some more presentations regarding human services, just all the stuff they have to deal with and legislative updates from Matt Hilgart. And then we had our plant ops meeting yesterday at the hospital. That's all I have.
thank you. February for me, 13th was regular meeting. 20th, MHA training. I signed up for the training to,
Certification. Certification, yes.
and sit through an hour of,
Boot camp, they call it.
and they don't give you any indication that your presence is acknowledged. So I texted, or not texted, I emailed Heather Harmer, or whatever her name is. How do I know that you know that I'm here?
Yep.
So, and she said, yeah, you're registered, all that, so. I guess they have ways to know if you're there and watching, I guess. 26th was planning committee meeting, which we handled today. That was very little opposition to that. 27th, regular meeting, hospital board meeting, and then the hospice open house. For the guys that were at the road and bridge, I couldn't be there. I got a cataract removed that day, so was there any hate and discontent or not so bad?
There was a little bit of, Chris wasn't able to make it either. He got called into work, so it was just three of us. There was quite a bit of discussion about County Road 17, as you know, for what Nick had said too.
I would like to have been there for that discussion.
But all in all, which I thought the conversation went well. There's one individual who's a little bit vocal.
I think they basically just said that the first mile is where the tile was most needed. The rest they thought it really wasn't needed. So Nick was gonna,
First mile is closest to the river.
say,
Well, that's where the obvious frost boils are, is the first mile, so they were questioning whether we should spend the money for the rest of it to be tiled. I did send Nick an email after that, telling him, well, why don't, maybe you should do some test holes in the other miles. Just, every half a mile, do a test hole to make sure. I'm okay with not tiling it, but I like to see for sure.
Now's the time to do it if we're gonna
Well, that's what they're going through, now is the time if you're gonna do it.
And the cost wasn't that much per foot.
It was two something, two and a quarter-ish, something.
Now,
like
I
that.
thought I understood from what Rick was saying too, because the question was, the other part is all gravel. So they said it's draining anyway. But Nick's saying, even if it is, it's still good to get that air through there, because even gravel will hold moisture.
But it's still, when you think about it, it's still not all gravel because
There's gonna be
under the
clay.
top gravel surface, what you drive on,
Yep.
it's not gravel all the way down.
There's still gonna be a clay
There's
base.
still something. That's why I was suggesting like, do some test holes. You
Mhm.
got a auger with a skid loader,
Yep.
see what's there. So I haven't heard back from him on that.
All those roads back then were not built the correct way.
They weren't.
They just
no.
took the black dirt out of the ditch and put it on there. Here,
Exactly.
okay,
And
we
then,
got a road.
and then threw some gravel
Yeah.
on, and here's your, and that's what a lot of the problems are with.
And
Most,
there's no way we could start fixing that either.
anyway, he was saying that was the big discussion.
Yep.
Dust control was a big discussion.
Oh,
The busy road.
my sister-in-law lives on a township road in Iowa. And she paid herself 100% of it to do 900 feet and it cost her $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. It's not.
For
super
dust control, you
expensive.
mean?
Yeah.
That's not the answer either. I've gotten more calls on dust control. It's all potholes. Cause they don't blade it if it's got dust control.
Right.
Then the
They
dust
get,
control goes.
they get washboard in potholes.
Yeah.
They do.
It's use one thing or the other,
Well, you gotta live with one. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
one or the
Yeah.
other. Anybody have anything else they would wanna,
I will move that we adjourn.
is there a support for that? Good. All in favor, say aye.
Hey.
Carried. Meeting is adjourned.